Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka Nabi Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Instagram fam, friends and followers of as-Saafiy. Thank you for getting up with me, and thank you for catching up with me and watching this live video or watching it later on in the day. So I want to get right back to the series that we've been doing this week. And this is the third installment in our segment on the concept of intention and its significance in Islam. Yesterday we contemplated the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar, the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. Actions are but by intentions, and every person shall receive a reward for his deeds in accordance with what he intended. And we talked about how the basic message of that hadith is purify your intention. Be on guard from corrupt intentions. Be on guard from doing a deed for other than Allah's sake. And we said that that encompasses the deed of Islam, the deed of being Muslim. We need to make sure that we are being Muslim, or we are accepting Islam for the right reasons, and that should be to please Allah and to follow His final messenger. That should be our motive. That should be our intention. That should be the driving force behind us being Muslim or remaining Muslim or accepting Islam. Now, there's another message in that hadith that I want to talk about, and that is that the Prophet is basically in a roundabout way, he's telling us corrupt intentions have consequences. And the primary consequence of having a corrupt intention, O Muslim, is as if the Prophet is speaking to us and saying, the primary consequence of having a corrupt intention when you do a deed is adam al-qubul, is that deed will not be met with Allah's approval. That deed will not attain or achieve acceptance with Allah. It will not be accepted by Allah. And there's another subliminal message or lesson that the Prophet is teaching us in the hadith, if you will. And that is that ma buni ala fasid fahuwa fasid. He's also teaching us, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that a deed founded in corruption or vanity is by extension corrupt, vain, null, and void. And this principle is supported by the hadith. If we think about it conceptually, it's supported by the hadith collected by Muslim on the authority of Abdullah ibn Umar, in which he said that he heard the Prophet say, لا يقبل الله صلاة أحدكم بغير طهور. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to accept the prayer of any one of you without a proper ablution, without a proper wudu. So it's as if the Prophet is saying the foundation of salat is ablution, a proper ablution. And any prayer built on that foundation, if that you have a proper wudu, a proper ablution, that salat has the potential of being accepted. But conversely, if a person didn't make wudu, or they didn't make a proper ablution, they didn't make ablution properly, then that foundation is now fasid, it's corrupt. And now whatever is built upon it, the prayer, will also not be prone, it will not be poised to be accepted. So it's as if the Prophet is teaching us, when we take these two hadith and we put them together, we can say the message from the Prophet ﷺ is that لا يقبل الله إسلام المرء بنية فاسدة. That Allah is not going to accept the Islam of an individual with a corrupt intention, an accepting of Islam that was done with a corrupt intention. And that means that the Islam itself will not be accepted because the intention was not correct. And then all the deeds that follow that are built upon that are not going to be accepted because the Islam itself was not accepted. Because the qa'idah, the principle, tells us ma buni ala fasid fahuwa fasid, whatever was established upon corruption and vanity is itself vain, null and void. So what does this mean for us as people who are trying to do the Muslim thing? trying to be Muslims, trying to live an Islamic life, trying to gain Allah's acceptance of our deeds, acceptance of our souls, and admittance into paradise. It means, brothers and sisters, that we have to constantly, every day, all the time, revisit, revise, and audit our intentions. Ask ourselves, why did I become a Muslim? Why do I remain a Muslim? Why do I contemplate leaving Islam? Why does that thought occur to some of us? We think about leaving Islam, and what does that mean about why I came to Islam? Now, as we start to do that, some of us will actively hear these words and start to reflect on our own selves. We'll start to do introspection. And maybe we'll find that, when I accepted Islam because that was the only way I could get my wife's hand in marriage. Her parents just would not, they refused. They were Muslim and I wasn't. And they refused to marry her to me until I became a Muslim. And so my primary motive when I became a Muslim was, as the Prophet said, لِإِمْرَأَةٍ يَنْكِحُهَا, was to marry my wife. A woman might say, when I really honestly inspect my intention when I became a Muslim because I thought that becoming a Muslim, my husband was Muslim, I wasn't. I thought that becoming a Muslim would draw us closer together, would make our relationship flourish. We would go to another level if we both shared the same faith. And that was my primary motive for accepting Islam. The question that people like this, and some people may say other things, but the point is that when we inspect our intention and we discover there may have been some corruption or a great deal of corruption, our follow-up question would be, so what does that mean? Does that mean that I'm dead in the water? I'm wasting my time. All of these I'm doing are not going to be accepted. There's nothing that can be done. No, there is a solution. And inshallah, bi'idhn al-wahid al-ahad, we're going to talk about that solution tomorrow in our final segment for this week. Until then, brothers and sisters, may Allah bless your days. Thank you for getting up with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting as-Saafiy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.